Hello everybody, happy Friday, happy Friday. Danny Shea here along with Psychic Duck. Say hello to Psychic Duck, everybody. Hello everybody, good to see ya, good to see ya. It's Friday, guess what we're doing? We're rambling. We are rambling. So, for my new subscribers, thank you for joining in. Fridays are rambling days. The reason they're rambling, because somebody complained that I didn't get to the point quick enough. And I said, but I'm rambling. I said I was rambling in the beginning, so today's a rambling day. They're just, who knows where I'm going to go with. Who knows where Psychic Duck is going to take me. So, join on. We're all going to jump on the back of Psychic Duck's back, and he's going to fly us through wherever we're going to go. We will get to the politics a little bit later on. So I like to start off with a higher vibe. And so I'm going to be using my Angels and Ancestors deck. You know, and there's some cards that some decks that you just resonate with immediately. And this is the deck that I just resonate immediately with. Some people will put their deck underneath their pillow and sleep with it. And I do feel like you need to, the deck needs to marinate with you a little bit. You know, it needs to blend with you a little bit. Certain decks don't need to. This Angels and Ancestors, I was connected to it right away. Although when I read the book on some of the cards, it gives me a lot better insight. The Galactic Heritage deck, which I have right here, that one connected with me right away. And I definitely had to read the book for better insight. That is deep. It's a deep deck. But you can still get your message from the intuitive images. We'll pull some off from that deck too. Let's just do one card from the Angels and Ancestors. What does the energy of our angels and or ancestors, or the combination of, because we may have an ancestral lineage that is angelic. What do you think about that? So when I was growing up in Catholic school, I would go, well, that's not possible. But then when I let some of that restriction go, I said, yeah, it is possible. How does that make you feel? It makes me feel like, really? I can think that way? Am I going to go to hell if I think that way? No. You look at some of these angels, and they have halos, or they have space helmets on. Angels from space. Okay. Told you. Rambling. Let's get one card. What do the angels and ancestors want to share with us while we're in this time, or we're in this flux, where we think all this stuff is going on, and that yet it doesn't materialize? The taco issue with Greenland and tariffs and Trump and all that crap. And then there's other stuff that is materializing, i.e. ice. And you go, what the hell? I want to look at that, how long that's going to last. How do we get out of that? Because, you know, there was an internal memo with that the department, that Homeland Security put out, about how ICE can just go in and not need a warrant signed by a judge. They could sign it themselves. Okay, I just signed a check for myself for $10 million, and I deposited it. But I don't think it's going to work, but it should. It's an internal memo. Anyway, Fourth Amendment. We're going to look at that and see if that's going to hold up. Angels and ancestors. What is the message that you want to share? Angels and ancestors. Angels and ancestors. What is it that you want to share? One card. I know, one card for all of us? Stargazer. Oh, you know I've got to pull my Galactic Heritage deck out now. Stargazers. Set your sights higher. So, in this ramble, what I've been yakking about is the fears and getting caught up in fears and not letting go of them and being stuck in there. And what Stargazer is saying is to observe this from a higher viewpoint. Whenever I do my morning meditation, and I try to do that at 7:30, and I pray for peace, I pray for leadership, I pray for compassionate leadership, and I ask them to get some brains, use them. You know, the hat rack principle. Okay. Set your sights higher. If we were in charge, which we are, what would we create? Instead of like focusing on CNN news or YouTube news or Midas Touch breaking news, what would we like to see? Remember when Joe Biden got in office? It was like this calm. Like there was no breaking news except from maybe the other side. They would, try to inflame things. All right, so Stargazer. Let's look at the Galactic Heritage deck. Let's see what it has to say. I'm going to drop this down while I show you the spread here. Hello. Okay, there we go. Galactic Heritage. These cards, I've mixed them up. I don't read reverses on them. They're going to be flipped right side up. So what is the galactic message as we drop into this portal of energy to have a higher perspective, to have that stargazer? Did I shuffle it? No, the stargazer energy. What does the galactic lineage, our ancestors, want us to think about? So the way that I do this, it's a portal energy. So it drops in and circles down into a portal. So let's just see what this energy is about. And the cool thing with this deck is that you can shift them all around because there is no linear time. It's portal energy. It's the past is the present is the future is the parallel time streams. So we do have, the past, present, no future so far. Parallel, past, no future time streams. Interesting. So what this card wants us to do is to set our sights to the future time stream. And in that, well, let me get back to what the past, present, future represent. The past represents childhood and wounded era. Okay, so it's an era of evolution. So we have past here. This is a wounded era, childhood era, birth and expansion makes sense. Another wounded era in its linear thinking, how we think that this has to follow this, has to follow this. That's not necessarily true. The present era is the adulthood and healing era, which I feel is where we are in right now. It's like, oh my God, I'm an adult. This sucks. I have responsibilities. I have to make sure that things are lining up in a way that I'm taken care of, my family's taken care of. I can't just keep going on any kind of rambling excursions. Maybe I'm not thinking correctly. All right. The future is the maturity in the awakening era. We have none of those cards here. But the parallel could be part of that future era because it goes anywhere, right? So let's take a look at this. So what do we need to set our sights higher in? That we need to embrace our community, our family, birth and expansion. Okay, the birthing process is very painful. The expansion process, well, that could be easy. Depends on how much you eat. You get expanded. It could be fun. So to me, I'm going really painful, kind of exciting. The linear thinking is in the past. Let that go. Self-discipline. Sometimes there is, as I silence my phone, it's now 11:22. Love these angel numbers. All right, the self-discipline. Sometimes there's pluses and minuses with that self-discipline. You can have too much self-discipline and you'll never go on a ramble. And sometimes there's another word, bumbling. Anyway, where you don't have any destination. You just go to explore. That's good too. Survival fears, the zeta reticuli. It's like we're in this place right now where we're too afraid to move into the future. It's like, what's going to happen? Oh my gosh, I've just got to, I've got to make sure I have housing. I've got to make sure I have food. I've got to make sure I'm not going to be unjustly arrested. I mean, it's a lot of survival feels coming up here. And even this, they're both zeta reticuli, so it is both of the same star family, but the fears are all about embracing family. It's a familia, did I say that right? Fear that we're not going to move forward. We find this common ground, and the last card that we get, which doesn't really mean anything, is the delusion of control. We think that we have control over this. And this is what Pumpkinhead really thinks. Besides just his delusion of control, he thinks that he can manage all of this. And it's just not him, because he clearly has mental challenges. See how nice I am? Mental challenges in his role because of his dementia, that his minions think that they have control, the Stephen Millers and all of that. So if we want to flip this around a little bit, our survival fears of linear thinking, where we think our discipline is going to give us some kind of control. it is gives us some kind of control. The control we have is we don't have it because birth and expansion, we never know what child we are birthing. We never know exactly what we're expanding into, what we're growing into. We just need to take the first step. We need to find the common ground and embrace our star-gazing family. How about that? How do you like them apples? All right. I like them. I like them. So that was a lot to say. Our survival fears of linear thinking, thinking that our self-discipline is going to fix things, but that's just a delusion of control. We are in this birth and expansion. And how do we start with birth? Well, normally it's just we're just having a little bit of sexual fun, and then whoa, we have another responsibility. Common ground, embracing family, stargazer. If you would shift these around, would you put them in a different order? Okay, let's go on to the news. The news of the day. News of the day. Let me clean up the desk. Okay, so I am going to be using my Los Scattibo deck. And that deck does have naked pictures in it, so we'll see what YouTube does to me for that. What a crazy week, right? It's just insane going on. So we had Davos, we had Jack Smith, we had the U.S. withdrawing from the World Health Organization. And we knew that it was happening, but it's like we're now withdrawn. And it seemed, when I read it, it seems like there's still some support, but really not much, which is insanity, in my opinion. I will get this wrong, so do your own research on this. But it seemed to me that the World Health Organization was really good at tracking worldwide illnesses. There have been some things that are done with vaccines throughout the world that I certainly don't agree with. I am not a big vaccine guy, so I'm kind of an anti-vaxxer. Now, during COVID, I couldn't say that because it was like, oh my gosh, even though I did get my COVID vaccines. But my wife, she got hers, and then she got so sick, and we're looking at the dosage. She got the same dosage, and she's a toothpick. She weighs like 102. She's like 7'2". I think she's an alien. So she got the same dosage. A 5-foot woman got the same dosage as a 300-pound, 6'4" male. That doesn't make any sense to me. These vaccines, in my humble opinion, for entertainment only, remember, I speak to ducks, I'm not that all, okay. But it seems to me that was for YouTube, by the way. It seems to me that they should be able to manufacture vaccines and medicines based on the genetic makeup of the individual. And I know they have that technology, I know they do, but why aren't they using it? So there does need to be a big shift. And I go back to the stargazer. Set your sights higher. World Health Organization. How is the World Health Organization going to be moving forward? I mean, the U.S., we have the worst health care in the world, so we just give them a lot of money. How is the World Health Organization going to evolve in the next few years? How is the World Health Organization going to evolve in the next few years? Let's drop this down. Ooh, that one wanted to come out. It's going to be good. The winner, riding in as a winner. So they're going to be doing something that is that's going to help the World Health Organization in the next few years. They have abundance, the Nine of Pentacles. This card has so many meanings to it because she is in this protected little garden. And so when I think of this, I go, this protected garden, is she going to be, and we got to keep going with this, is she going to be protecting human life a little bit, surrounding them in the vaccines? Let's just keep going. And suspension, Hanged Man. They're going to look at things from a different point of view. They're going to have to take a pause and take a look at this from a different way. Certainly, they're going in a new journey. And I don't know if this is just U.S. So far, I was looking at the World Health Organization, implying in my head, without the U.S. is huge involvement. And again, we get the Six of Wands. You saw me sticking that in the middle of the deck. So that's in the past as it relates to the winning aspect of this. They did a lot of good. The Nine of Cups, the wish cards. Okay, sorry, wish card. Maybe there's more wishes. Maybe that was a Freudian slip, that it shouldn't be just one wish, but it's going to be multiple wishes. And a new emotional start, a new beginning, a new healing way forward. Okay, I'm going to keep going, but I think this is the reading. The World Health Organization in the next couple of years is going to find money, is going to be looking at things from a different point of view, how they allocate this money, how they're going to use it. They're certainly taking off on a new trajectory, and they are they have abundance, wish, moving in as a winner, new emotional start. It's going to be, they're going to be quiet for a little bit internally. They've got to go, what do we need to they're looking at themselves as the hermit and saying, what do we do? How do we manage this? External influences, they're at a crossroads. Yeah. Hopes and fears is that we just, that we somehow find our money, our funding for this, and the final outcome is worry. Something else is going to be coming up, I feel. There's a new partnership and new information coming in on strength. I feel that with this Nine of Swords card, that there may be another pandemic type issue that is going to cause a lot of worry. So that outer band of cards that I read, that was more for like the near future. The 6 cards in the center was the energy of the future. So I think the energy is really good. Short term, I want to pull on this. What is this Nine of Swords about in the short term? What is the Nine of Swords about in the short term? Partnership, Two of Cups. I shuffled these. Maybe I need to put them back in and try it again. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Maybe a different deck. Because it's partnership with new information and getting the wish. Let's try it one more time, see if we get anything else. And that the wish is that the World Health Organization is successful in creating a healthy world. I have not looked at their mission statement, but I would hope that it would be to create a healthy world. Nine of Swords, what is this about? What is our fear about in the outcome for the Nine of Swords? Being out in the cold. Oh, you guys in New York, be careful. Be careful. The World card, completion. This is the World Health Organization. Lack of funding. The world, I think, is going to step up. It's funding. It's funding is what this worry is. It's not so much about another virus showing up, although it is. It's more about funding so that they can track things. Yeah, so they're confused. Where do we go? What's going to happen? Knight of Swords, we need to move fast. I think there is still something. And again, Two of Cups coming together. So, yeah. I think that what this is more about finances and keeping their organization running. That's what the Nine of Swords was about versus another pandemic. However, what did we learn during COVID? What did the government learn during COVID? Nothing. What are we focusing on now to help us come through another pandemic? Nothing. We're more concerned about the Netflix Warner Brothers merger. Trump just put, what, $2 billion into that? And then he's complaining about Ilhan, what's her name? The Minnesota, hang on. I wrote it down. Ilmar Omar, the first Somali American United States Congresswoman. And he's gone, how'd you make so much money? Because it's reported, I never really got definitive answers when I started looking at it. But it is reported that last year she started out with $7 million. Okay, let me back up. She and her husband started out with $6 million and now it's up to $30 million. He owns a hedge fund in a wine country, in a vineyard in California. And so Pumpkinhead is all up in arms. How did she get so much money? How did you make so much money? I mean, somebody needs to look at all the stuff you are doing and your family's doing. The flipping of back and forth, it's insane. All right, so what are we doing for another pandemic? Try to be as healthy as you can. Eat as clean of foods as you can. I think there's a case in front of the Supreme Court now about glyphosate. in Roundup, and you hear these people go, well, you're just not using it right. You're just not using the poison right that gives people cancer. Drives me nuts. My sister-in-law, she passed away from glyphosate. Now, we're not really 100% sure. They didn't test her for that, but it's this rare cancer that she got that is attributed to glyphosate, Roundup. Our neighbor, he had a couple of little kids, and they're all running around barefoot. They're such fun kids, so full of life. And he's getting ready to sell his house, and he's spraying Roundup everywhere. And my wife goes, do you realize, and this is just when her sister passed, do you realize what that is that you're spraying and that's on now your kid's feet? And he goes, no, what? I thought it was safe. She's going, which is worse, DDT or Roundup? My hillbilly brother says Roundup is way worse. Anyway, the Supreme Court is looking at that case now. No other I think we are the only country in the world that thinks it's okay for Roundup, I think. And then they'll change the terminology, or they'll change an ingredient and call it by another name. Garlic will scare things away, as will peppermint oil. The thing, and I go back to my freeing of my mouse, the thing, people going, yeah, use peppermint oil. The thing with that I have found is that once they're in there, they're going to stay in there. You have to get them out of there. And so I was lucky enough to capture the one that was in the van and the ones that are running around the van. But it was a challenge. You got to get them out. Then maybe you can spray peppermint oil. Be careful though, because, and this is not for entertainment only. This is serious. When you're spraying peppermint oil in your engine compartment, oil combusts. So when you spray it, you can't spray it on any of the surfaces that are going to get hot. So maybe the backboard a little bit, the insulation back there, maybe. Be really, really careful. I put a pad and I just set it on top of the plastic intake cover. Okay. We're doing politics and here we're talking about cars? What? You're rambling. I know I am. All right, let's take a look at, I'm not going to look at, what was I going to talk about? Ilmar Omar. You know, that whole system needs to be changed. That whole system needs to be changed. But let's look at, I looked at Jack Smith a couple of days ago, but this is, and did he make a dent again? So, Fanoni, the Metropolitan police agent that was severely damaged, he had to retire after that. He's in the background of Jack Smith, front row, and he has to cough in his hands. At least he covered his mouth. Bullshit! Or something. Or liar. Or effing liar. How did the Republican Party go from the party of law and order to this? The Democrats are standing up for Capitol Police. The Republicans didn't at all. Did any one of them? Pathetic. And the thing that worries me with these ICE raids and our destruction of the Department of Justice, as flawed as it was, I was still hoping that you could still find justice. And some people couldn't. I know it. So now we have Danny, set your sights higher. Now we have a chance to revamp all of this. And I think we're going to. I have such high hopes for the future. Yeah, I know. Hopium. I got a new batch of it. I do. I got a new batch of hopium. Maybe we'll read on the hopium later on. Just had to check the time. All right, Jack Smith and the Republican Party. 6 cards. Did that hearing that was live, that everybody could see, the thing with that, and here's another thing that needs to change, is Congress people should not be allowed to lie under the speech and debates clause. Jack Smith can't lie. He's under oath. If you guys are in Congress and in a session, nobody should be able to lie. I mean, I don't think you should be able to lie anyway. But sometimes we get confused and we think this is the truth and it isn't. But that whole thing with being in a session in Congress, consciousness, a session of Congress where you're doing an investigation and then you get up there and you spew your lies, Jim Jordan. The question that I have for Jim Jordan, are you in the Epstein files? Are you? Let's not forget. The survivors are getting pushed down further and further and further away from the truth. They're not getting pushed down, but they're getting further and further away from the truth. Why? Because we have Greenland, taco. We have tariffs, taco. Where are the Epstein files? We have Jack Smith. That was kind of real. That was big. January 6th, Trump had, what did Jack Smith, beyond a reasonable doubt to Jack Smith. Trump is trying to call him delusional and deranged. Is he looking in the mirror? Okay. That wasn't a ramble. That was a little rant, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was. All right, Jack Smith and the Republican Party. Because the Democrats came out and said, you guys remember when you said this and then you flipped? More and more people should be getting out there and talking. And that includes us. 5 calls. Please, please, please. Even if you make 1 call. Even if just get out there in our community. If you don't want to make a call, okay, ramble, sideways. If you don't want to make the calls, go support your local food bank. Support somebody that is giving food to our neighbors who are here legally, who may not look as white as we do, may have an accent. Go support them with food, how we're giving that out. Some of these people are so afraid they don't want to go outside. I don't blame them. And now ICE is trying to break in. Okay, that's the other reading. Jack Smith and the Republicans. Sorry. Ramble. Jack Smith and the Republicans. Let's keep going with this. 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups, my Democratic card. Oh, please, 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 please. Hopium out in the cold. That hopium was so short-lived, wasn't it? Jack Smith is talking about our democratic values, is talking about we need the Department of Justice. We need to have the rule of law. No one is above the law. It's loss, devastating loss. It's morality collapsing. In the Rider-Waite deck, you could go into the church and get warmed up. Not this one. This is New York. This is the East Coast. At the base of the reading, okay, I've still got a little bit of hopium left. We have the Four of Wands. Can we resurrect this? Can we, and this is, and again, going back to the Rider-Waite, I should pull that out if I'm going to keep referencing it, is that this had White House celebration tones to it. This is a coming together tone. Jack Smith and the Republicans. So far, we only have one negative card. Rule of law with the Queen of Swords. Somebody asked if Kamala Harris is going to be the next AG if she's not president. And I have not read on Kamala Harris in a while because it just feels like this crap is just going to keep going on and on and on. People keep asking me, when's it going to end? And I've already told you when it was going to end, and that was last year. So I'm not getting that right at all. Things keep shifting. And we have hope that it will end because we take hopium, because we have the Queen of Swords in the past that is going to come up and give us some hope. But in the meantime, we're right there with the Five of Pentacles. Jack Smith and the Republican Party. Boom. Big information. Big stick. This is my Bam Bam card, right? The Flintstones with that little kid. Bam Bam. And they just smack that big stick on the ground. Bam Bam. I think that's what Jack Smith's testimony did. And he released something. Judgment. Wow. Wow. Okay, I'm going to keep going. So the energy that is surrounding Jack Smith doing his testimony, again, was huge. Even though Jim Jordan tried to flip it, right, and try to say what a loss we were, what a loss this is for the country, for Jack Smith to be here, and try to bring him down. It didn't seem like it worked in this spread. Internal, what are they thinking internally, externally? Internally, Knave of Pentacles. They're coming up with a new balance. They're looking at this going, what? Externally, the Hermit. There's not a lot of them that are coming. I'm sorry. Get so close to the camera you can't see it. There's not a lot that are coming out and saying this, but internally they see what's going on and they are changing their point of view internally as they get quiet, as they get away from, the noise of Jim Jordan and some of these other MAGA guys. Hey, Chip Roy, speaking of MAGA guys. Chip, can you hear me? What's going on with the debt? They just came up with an appropriations bill raising, I think it's 1.2 trillion. Had good things and bad things in it. I don't know if I'm going to get to it. The hopes and fears, Pumpkinhead, King of Pentacles. As I flip that over as I talk about debt. The Republicans and Jack Smith, they got a burden that they have to carry. Why? Because they attach themselves to Pumpkinhead. And they go, that's not a rule and order guy. That's an authoritarian fascist guy. the King of Pentacles. And they got a hard, they have a burden that they're going through with this Ten of Wands. I like this card, though, in the way that he has all of his burden securely attached to his back, which allows the carrier to see where he's going. So they see where they're going. I got that insight from Johnny, Tarot's apprentice. I'm going, oh, that is really good. So, have to give him props. All right, they're going to have some infighting, though. Abuse of power with this. Was somebody talking about Kamala Harris? Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups. So I'm going to pull it away from Kamala Harris because that's another Kamala Harris card. But who is the strong, calming force in the Republican Party? I know your brain's starting to scream right now. What's the matter with you? There is no calm women's force in the Republican Party. Who is it that is going to calm this abuse of power down and make them see this judgment? I don't pay attention to the Republican Party that much, but is there somebody in there, or is this really Kamala Harris? It feels to me that they know the truth. They know what's right to do. That Ten of Wands, the burden, they are moving. It is a movement card. They're not stagnant like the Hermit card. And that was in the external position. So some of them are stagnant. Some of them are moving. And that Queen of Cups, I think it's behind closed doors that they are coming to the realization that they got to flip this a little bit. Okay. Should I look at Kamala Harris? Should I look at it? 47 minutes in. I know you guys are going, yeah, look at her. Okay. I want to read on one thing first. Somebody asked me about this. Oh, okay, two things really quickly. The Fourth Amendment. There was an internal memo that said ICE can go into people's homes without a warrant, that they could have just something, a piece of paper signed by somebody that says they gave them authority. And so they're going in and they're breaking down people's doors. So I want to look at ICE real quick. Let's just look at the Fourth Amendment. Is that going to be upheld? I know the Supreme Court doesn't do anything. You know, and it drives me nuts when I see these poll numbers and I see how many people still support this type of action. Will the Fourth Amendment play a role in the main question? This is right, because whenever I get like hiccups, which I never have gotten before, I'm going, you're on the right path, and I go, can't you give me, like, you know, drop a penny or something on the ground? No, you got to make me hiccup. I'll take it, though. I'll take it. My dad leaves me pennies. Just saying. All right. How is ICE? How is this reign of terror going to end? How is this reign of terror going to end? How is this ice reign of terror going to end? Confusion. Let me drop it down. You can see, I think this might be the last read for me. Confusion, unless I go fast. Going on a new journey. Big stick. Balance, temperance. So far, ice is not showing any of that, but that's in the past. Celebration. Four of Wands. How's it going to end? It's very confusing how this new path is going. That's what these two cards say. The Hierophant. The government. Supreme Court? Because that's what this card represents, is the Supreme Court. Are they going to get involved with this? Somehow, you know, my hopium level drops. It's kind of like Narcan. I'm on this great little hopium, hopeful path, and then I think of the Supreme Court and it's like Narcan. Drops me back to reality. World, completion, partnership, Two of Cups, coming together in an emotional bond. Abundance, the Empress card. How's it going to end? Heartbreak. Three of Swords. These cards were so good till that. That's like the Supreme Court. Finances, money, abundance, and the Emperor. How's it going to end? Okay, well, the hopium method is it's going to end in heartbreak with the Emperor in a prison, but it's a wealthy prison. That's how it's going to end if we're taking our proper dose of hopium. If we have been Narcaned, I hope I'm saying that right, then it's going to end in heartbreak, and the Emperor's going to keep making money off of this. But it doesn't feel like that with the rest of this spread. You have too much happiness and hope here. You have completion here. You have coming together here. You have balance, new journey for the government. Yeah, I think we get big information coming from the world. I don't know. How can that be? How can we get big information from the world on ice? Maybe it's Iceland giving us big information. In Greenland, in Finland, maybe the big information is, you know, we speak German over here. I don't know what language they speak in Iceland. Icelandia? I don't know what it is. The whole world saw what a fool we have as a pumpkin head. If it wasn't for us, you guys would be speaking German or Japanese. What? All right. Okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there, guys. I'm going there. What? Yeah, I am. I'm going there. Come on. Where's my deck of cards? If I can find my deck of cards. I'm going to go there. Okay. Tarot Grand Lux. All right, so let me clear some energy. Kamala Harris. My alien dog is going crazy. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. dog's going, yeah, read on Kamala. Okay. Kamala Harris, how you doing? What do you think of the current situation? What does Kamala Harris think of the current situation that she would like to, her energy would like to share with us? What does Kamala Harris like to say? I hear it, keep going, keep fighting. That's the Joe Biden card. No, I don't see him coming back. I know some people keep saying, yeah, there's going to be this interim government. And wasn't that interim government? A lot of readers said that was going to be last summer. Yeah. We're thinking in linear time frames. You can't do that here because we are not in, and that's part of this new awareness that we're going to let go of the linear time frame thinking. Don't ask me how that works because I understand it. I can transport myself in my mind's eye to another time stream. Maybe that's not what we're doing. If we do a journey, if we get into our quiet space and shift our imagination into another reality where we have strong, compassionate leaders. Personally, I think, I'm glad I'm saying at the very end because most people don't watch it till the very end. Personally, I think if Kamala Harris would have gotten in the beginning, we would have a long, long road to change, and it would still be really volatile. This way, it's really volatile, and it's going to be a shorter road to change. That's just me thinking. I talk to ducks. Here we go. Kamala Harris, what are you going to share with us? Let me drop it down. Oh, jeez. All right, this is clear. So we have the King of Cups. We have the King of Calm, reason, compassion, celebrating. Thank you, guys. Celebrating in the White House with the King of Pentacles. So you have the money card, the money king. You have the compassionate king sandwiching into the White House, into a celebration. So what we're dealing with right now is the extremes of what, and this goes back to all the prophecies that have been talked about, where we have the individualistic attitudes and ways of greed for one person. I need more money, more money, more money. This king says we need to share more of our resources. Everything is connected. Trees, rocks, plants, everything. We need to look at all of that. We need to look at what decisions we're making now for 7 generations in the future or longer. This king is going, how can it benefit me now? And there's a blending of those two ideas in the center with the Four of Wands. Cool. Anything else? Waiting for our ship to come in. Celebration. It's going to be a little heartbreak right now. We're going to need to drop our swords a little bit. But she wants to tell us that the fight's not over. Keep waiting for that ship to come in. Things are going to blend together. We have our circles of support. Let's stay with it. How many threes did I pull here? 1, 2, 3. The threes symbolize, I mean, this is amazing because I'm running over, because I just looked at the number 3 and how it is such a powerful number in numerology. It's half an 8. So if 8 is rebirth, right? If 8 is infinity, you see how I made that circle right into an infinity? If 8 is infinity, 3 is half of the infinity. It's unbalanced. It's not quite complete yet, right? It's half an 8. I already said that. Keep going. So also 3 is the Trinity, body, mind, spirit. It's becoming whole. It's coming together in this. It's also abundance and joy, and it's a little off balance. You guys can do your own research on the threes, but Kamala Harris's message, her higher self message, is hang in there. We're blending these two together. We're blending threes together. It may feel like it's heartbreak, but we are coming together with this. We are waiting for our ship to come in. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you. Peace and love.